Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Front. Thanks for joining me this evening. As always, you can check out the website at leadtheteam.net for free sales training, for motivational content, and for leadership tips. And if you would, cruise on over to leadtheteam.tv. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Remember, I do new episodes of The Front every Wednesday and Sunday. If you're interested in the podcast, you can check those out on just about every podcast platform out there. Just type in The Front and Mike Phillips, and it should pop right up. And whether you're watching this episode or listening to it today, please participate in the comments down below. Share your thoughts and share your opinions. Feel free to ask questions because often that leads to a really awesome future show. So today I'm going to be talking about level awareness right now on The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mike Phillips and I will be your host. And today on The Front, we're talking about level awareness. And first off, you're going to have to understand what level awareness is. It's what level is somebody at, or what level are you at, either in sports or in business. And so I'm going to come at you from a few different angles, that of a leadership role or a manager, coach, maybe that of a parent, because this is kind of how it affected me today, and also that of an employee and a sales consultant. And so when I'm talking about level awareness, first off, the inspiration came. I have an 11-year-old son that is a competitive gymnast, and he is awesome. And gymnastics, if you're not in that world, that's one of those things that you compete at different levels, level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. It's just like getting to a black belt level in martial arts, right? There's different levels along the way, and there's different paths along the way. And one of the things that can be very tough, now I'm going to come at you from a parent's perspective, and you can kind of think about how could you apply this in a business role. Coming from a parent's perspective, it's very tough sometimes to accept what level the coach says your child is going to compete at. And my wife and I have gone through this for about the last year and a half. Our son was competing at a level, and we've been pushing for the last year and a half, hard practices, really rocking and rolling and saying, man, we're going to make it to that next level. You ready to go? And our son was all excited about it, and he was rocking and rolling. And then about 6 months ago, man, he was just fried. And he says, man, Mom, Dad, he goes, this was really fun, but I don't know if I want to keep competing like this. And so one of the things as a parent, you have to take a step back because it's hard to make sure that you're growing your kids and you're grooming them and coaching them along and being the best for them. And obviously you want to do it in a loving way, but what is really the best for them? And it's not you living vicariously through them. Right? It's not you pushing them to be better because you want them to be. They have to want to be better. They have to want to improve or compete at a level. And so one of the things over the last year that I've come to the realization is that competing at a higher level or even competing at the highest level is not just about winning. You're saying, well, Mike, that's crazy. I'm going to come back to this statement because I'm all about winning, right? Set goals, achieve goals, go after it, have a killer year in business or a killer month or week or day, right? And what's the win? How do you determine the win? And on something like this, and I'm all still for that. I'm not saying to give up ground, but you have to understand that competing at the highest level is not just about winning. It's about the preparation. It's about the path. It's about the journey. It's about having courage. From a leadership role, it's about understanding where your people are at. Where are their hearts? It's not just about what's in their head, but it's what's about in here. Where are their hearts at? Because if you can get their hearts behind it, their minds will follow. And then what happens is then winning becomes the result, right? Of being that ultra high level of competition. So I'm talking about gymnastics and we're saying, hey, we want to push it along. Well, the thing is, so my wife and I, we backed off in the last 6 months. We said, hey, let's just do it for fun. What level do you want to compete at? Where do you want to be? And we really took the time to listen to the person that is the expert, the coach, that was telling us, listen, here's the level that he's at. And our son was in agreement. He says, listen, I know where I'm at. Here's where I'm going to go. And we kept saying, okay, well, you got to, and so all along for the last 6 months, we've had a really good plan in place on what can he do to improve and work and actually level up and make it to that next level, but really compete solidly at the level where he is at and just be awesome at it. And so that, today was the first competition of the year for us. And so this is where my head's at. So I hope you can follow along with me, especially if you're a business person, because how does it apply to you as a manager? As a manager, you have to know what your people are capable of. You have to know where they're at. And it takes a lot of courage sometimes to have that very straightforward and forthcoming conversation to say, hey, listen, and we have this happen all the time in the auto industry. You have salespeople that want to be managers. They want to be where you're at, right? And quite frankly, some of them are not there yet. And that's okay. You can still give them tasks. You can still give them and work with them, work alongside them, get them an additional mentor. Maybe you're not the solution. That's one of the hard things for managers and leaders to accept is, what if you are not the solution to the person in that position graduating to the next level? You have to be able to see that and know the level that they're at and know the level that you're at, to be able to advise them properly and help them truly grow. And there are some people that really have to master that level in business. They have to go over it and over it and over it again. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't push them. It doesn't mean you don't want them to get better, but sometimes you got to slow down and be really well rooted in what their strengths are and what their basics are. And there are certain people too. Well, here's one of the other things that you've got to see from a leadership standpoint is you have to be able to determine sometimes you have people that quite simply are in the wrong seat. And you got to get them out of the seat. It doesn't mean you have to get them off the bus. You just got to get them into the right seat so that they can excel and they can gain levels in what they're meant to gain levels in. And here's the thing, if you back up a little bit and you allow them the opportunity, you have a really good, two-way conversation one-on-one with them. Oftentimes, people will tell you exactly what they need to be coached. They'll tell you exactly what they need and want. And when you do that, it's a lot more fun. It's my gymnastics analogy here earlier on is our son is having a blast. He is having an absolute rock star time. And it's allowed him the opportunity to gain wins because of the coach knowing where he's at, us allowing him to be where he's at, and him just excelling where he's at. Sometimes you got to do that with sales consultants, F&I managers, sales managers, lot men, receptionists, you name it. If somebody's in your dealership and they're wanting to level up to another level or what they view as a level up, I don't want to think somebody is saying I'm discounting one position or another, because I'm not. I mean, we're all people, and you need people that are excellent and wired for the position that they're in. So when I'm talking about level awareness, not only as a leader and a manager, you need to understand where your people are at, but as an employee, as a staff member, do you really feel confident and comfortable having that conversation with management, telling them, hey, look, here's where I feel I'm at? Now, it could go either way. Your manager may look at you as a sales consultant and say, hey, listen, you're not at that level. Right? But then you need to have the fortitude to ask, say, well, what would it take for me to get to that level? On the flip side, if you're in the leadership or management role and there's somebody asking you that question, guess what? Yeah, you got to be prepared to answer the question. If you're going to tell them you're not at that level, you need to have a plan for them to get to that level. Hey, look, here's the things you need to work on. Or if you just say, well, you're not at that level because I say you're not. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to have a solution for people. Sometimes people will say, hey, I think I'm at this level of performance or whatever it is, athletics, performance, in business. Hey, I think I'm at this level. And you can look at them and go, seriously, are you sandbagging? You have far exceeded that. You are far past that point in your career. Sometimes, right? Sometimes somebody could look at you and now that's really hard too. If you're in the the employee role in that one, for you to sit back and look and go, man, am I really sandbagging? Am I past that point? Well, what does it take for you to see that? And then also, what does it take for you to continue growing and get to a level even beyond that? So I know I've talked about a lot about levels, and as I'm talking about this, it's one of those things that it's a little bit of an ethereal topic, right? What level sales consultant are you? A white belt sales consultant, a red belt sales consultant, blah, 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 on up to a black belt sales consultant. I would say, keep that mentality that you're like a red belt or a brown belt. I didn't go really far in martial arts, but I know those are kind of a step or a few steps below black belt normally. And here's the thing. If you keep that mentality, you keep learning. It's got that thirst for knowledge. It's got that thirst to win and get to the black belt level, get to the next level. In the gymnast analogy, it's how do I get to level 9, from level 9 to level 10, right? How do I push through it? What's that one skill I need to perfect? In sales, right? Is it what you're saying? Is it how you're saying it? Is it how you're, demoing your product? Here's another hard one for managers to understand. This is like way off on a tangent, but what the heck? As a manager in business, could you be the reason that your people aren't leveling up? Because somewhere deep down, are you fearful that if they level up, you're out of a job? Right? That's not how it works. If you're able to level up people and get them to achieve things and hit goals, your business will flourish much more than you ever could have imagined. That's kind of the little tidbit for the night, I guess. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of The Front tonight. Let me ask you this. If you have something that you do to get to the next level as an employee or a sales consultant, as a person in that position, or if you have something that you think is a really good coaching strategy from a manager or a leadership standpoint, do me a favor, drop that in the comments down below. I really appreciate you all taking the time to tune into another episode of The Front today. I really, really, truly do. If you've gotten some value out of this, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media. I would really appreciate that. And until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.